Hey everyone, what's up? How are you? I am Rachel and I'm the proud founder of SIOPA, Seize Your Passion. And I usually do these live streams from our Facebook group, Seize Your Passion. I usually do them on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, but this past Friday I had to cancel last minute. And so I promised you guys that I'd make it up in the next few days. And so here I am on a Monday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. from our Facebook group, Seize Your Passion. Talking to you guys about what I've been thinking about over the last week, my growth for the week, my lessons learned, my aha moments, and really what I have been focusing on and want to focus on moving forward in order to implement into my actions, right? It's from mindset into implementation and actions. And of course, it's all about seizing your passion, which in turn is all about realizing all of your dreams, becoming your best self, constantly evolving and growing and learning, and really manifesting the personal legend that I believe each and every one of us was born to become. I believe that's why we're all here, is to manifest our unique personal legends. Each of us has a personal legend that we're meant to fulfill, and a core part of that is living out of your passion, engaging in your passions, seizing your passion, and that in turn translates into realizing all of your dreams and becoming your best self. So last week, what I was thinking about, and again, I was supposed to do this live stream on Friday. I may switch it actually. I kind of might like Mondays at 3:30. I'm going to see how it goes. But anyway, what I've been thinking about is the notion of defining moments. What I've been thinking about, what I've realized is that each and every one of us has these defining moments in our life and throughout our life, and they continue to define us. From the moment we're born, from an early day one age up until the day we die. We are filled with these moments and experiences that literally define who we are, how we are in the world, and ultimately helps us understand what we want, right? What dreams we actually want to realize, what we want out of life, what our passions actually are, and why we want them. I'm a big believer in Simon Sinek and find your why first and start with why. And understanding who you are and what you want and why you want it is such a huge part of being able to seize your passion in life, right? To realize your dreams and become your best self, both on the personal front and on the professional front. And, you know, life is about both realms. So if you're becoming more and working on yourself and growing and evolving in your personal life, that will automatically translate into your professional life as well, and vice versa. So a key part of really knowing who you are, what you want, and why you want it in order to then go out there and manifest your personal legend and realize your dreams and become your best self is recognizing and understanding these defining moments that we all have in our lives. The journey, I believe, of seizing your passion, of realizing your dreams and becoming your best self starts and ends with you, with knowing yourself. It starts with the self, right? You cannot go out and seize your passion and realize a dream and become your best self if you don't even know where you're going, if you don't even understand who you are and what you want, or what your passions are, or what your dreams are, right? So at the very basic first fundamental level, you have to know yourself. And it's not just on a surface level. I talk about this all the time. It's really going deep and digging deep and truly understanding and knowing yourself, why you are the way you are, how you are in the world, what you truly want, you, not anyone else, and not what you think you are supposed to want, but truly, what are your dreams? What do you want out of life? Understanding that is based on knowing how those moments defined you and continue to define you. And when you get a grasp of understanding those defining moments, you start to define the moments yourself rather than have those moments define you. Now, those defining moments for each and every one of us they're big and they're small. Some of those defining moments are really obvious. They're the often they're traumas or tragedies or really tough challenges and tough times that we've had to overcome, right? But sometimes they're also positive. And again, the small ones are just as important as the big ones. It could be, getting a part in a play, or climbing the monkey bars for the first time, or having someone say yes to you, or being able to hit the ball into the basket for the first time. These are all incredibly defining moments, but if we don't recognize them and don't acknowledge them as far as why we are the way we are and how those moments define us and who we are today and what we want and why we want it, then we'll never be able to get to the next stage of that journey, which starts with self, and the next stage is actually having the right mindset. But it's not just understanding the right mindset in your head, it's actually knowing it in your heart and implementing it, right? And I talk about that a lot too, right? About the whole notion of syncing up and aligning your head and your mind and the mindset with your heart, and following your heart and listening to your bliss and your intuition and your gut, and really knowing something and knowing yourself in the same way on a truly deep level to your core, where you can't necessarily analyze it or rationalize it or even articulate it. But you use those rationalization skills and those analyzation skills to build the strategies and the mindset that you need to then go out and achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. And once you have that mindset, then you're able to take the action that is necessary, right? You get nowhere if you just have the mindset and you don't have the action. But again, you need to know which actions to take that work for you, that tie into what you want and why you want it, which in turn ties into truly knowing yourself and understanding and recognizing and giving credit and validation to those defining moments in your life that made you and make you who you are. And then when you take those actions, you're able to overcome the next moments that could define you, right? Those challenges and those obstacles, and you're able to get back up and do them again and consistently move forward and take that action and overcome those challenges until you reach success. And again, success in turn goes back to those defining moments, because how you define success is based on how well you know yourself and what success looks like to you, right? So if you don't truly know yourself, if you don't truly know why you want, how you're best able to go out and achieve that based on recognizing and giving credit to those defining moments in your life. Again, the big ones that are kind of obvious that maybe you've actually taken for granted. I know there was a huge one for me that was like staring me blank in the face, but I never really gave it the credit that it deserves of how much of a driving force it is for me and who I am and what I want and why I want it and how I be in the world. And when you give it that credit, you're actually taking back the power, again, so that when you are faced with new experiences and new moments that have the potential to define you moving forward, you now are able to make that choice of how those moments, you define the moments rather than the moments defining you. And it's incredibly empowering, and it's incredibly insightful. And, at the end of the day, that's really what Seize Your Passion is about. It's about empowering ourselves and understanding ourselves and knowing ourselves and listening to ourselves and engaging and living out of that place that is the most pure, core, fundamental part of who we are and what we want and why we want it. And when you reach that level of understanding yourself and understanding those defining moments and get through all those stages of self, mindset, action, overcome, success. Ultimately, when you define that success, it's based on the very definition of self and knowing yourself based on those defining moments. And ultimately, it then lets you sort of move out of yourself, which was really what it's all about. For me, one of the core definitions, for me, again, we all can define success in our own ways. For each and every one of us, it's unique based on who you are and what you want and why you want it, which is based on those defining moments, which is unique for each and every one of us. But for me, I know that success, true success, it starts with the self, because you have to define what success is for you, but ultimately true success is how are you contributing to the other people in your life and to the world at large? How are you adding value? That and it's symbiotic, you know, by contributing to yourself and knowing yourself and following your passions and realizing your dreams and manifesting who you were meant to be, your personal legend. That in turn is the impetus for that creative genius and that creative generating value for others, and that is in itself contribution in my book, and that is true success. Yeah, so, you know, what are those defining moments for you? Again, the big ones that maybe you kind of say, okay, it is what it is, and yeah, that was a big moment for me, but that has nothing to do with who I am today and what I want and why I want it. Maybe give that a second thought. You know, I think it has probably a lot more to do with how you operate, who you are, how you're made up, what you think you want maybe is different from what you truly want. And again, very important, why you want it. You know, those defining moments help you really get a handle of that and really understand yourself. And don't discredit the small defining moments either. You know, those little moments that happen every day, those interactions with other people, the small rejections, the hurts, the kindness, you know, the random acts of kindness that we give others or that others give us. Those are all defining moments that really, you know, we may not notice them, but they're building us. And if we don't, again, recognize them and understand them truly and deeply and know ourselves first and foremost truly and deeply, then there's no way you can go on to the next, you know, stages of realizing your dreams and achieving your goals and becoming your best self and attaining your own definition of that success. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about this past week, last week, this notion of these defining moments that really define us. And when we give them credit and recognize them and validate them, we sort of take control over them so that those moments don't define us anymore and it's sort of happenstance, but rather we're now defining the moments moving forward with that knowledge of ourselves. So have an amazing week, everyone. Do more of what you love and be more of who you love. Seize your passion. Bye, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.